All right, guys, in this edition of the Fit Rockstar Show, we have the second place runner-up to the Miss Olympia. She's a superstar. She's world champion bodybuilder, Miss Angela. Yo!
Thank you,
What's
Isabel.
up, Chica?
I'm thrilled to be here today.
Hey,
Thrilled to be here
I
today.
am thrilled to have you here, girl. And you are looking thick. T-H-I-C-C, thick.
It is big girl season,
Hell
and
yeah.
I am so here for it.
I know it's big girl season. How big are we talking here? Are you like going full big or?
Well, I mean, we've only got a handful of months really to accomplish what we want to. I do plan on growing into this season. So, I mean, a lot of that's kind of in my coach's hands. I mean, my ultimate goal would be like 160 on stage.
Oh, wow.
That would make me feel amazing. I don't think I've quite clipped 150 on stage yet, but I've got some time to work on that, and every workout matters right now.
What were you at the Olympia? What was your weight there?
Around 147.
Oh,
I don't really keep too close of a check getting close, but it was around 147.
Man,
not what I wanted for the year, but
what did you want for the year?
I was really hoping to break 150 this year.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, still though, 147. What you brought was incredible. And
Thank you.
Got a compliment from my buddy Bob Ciccarello yesterday with Andrea Shaw and Linda Murray and Tarek Elgindi, in the sense where you are it right now. You know, you're like right up there. You and Andrea are very close, nobody can touch you guys. You know?
Wow.
Well, I mean, look, the conditioning you brought, the presentation, everything was just flawless. So, in your opinion, I mean, from here to the Olympia, besides obviously adding the mass, what they want to see more is the roundness of you, being more round and not as hard as you was. What are your thoughts on that? When
I was able to get feedback, great story. I mean, we just happened to smash together in the elevator in Vegas, and I was like,
wow.
"Can we do this right now?" And they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to improve? But also what made this so good in the first place? Because I was still in shock. And the feedback was just keep doing what you're doing. Add a little bit on the lats, a little bit on the quads. Don't be any leaner. Like that was a very finite note, was that the conditioning was on point and nothing further needed to be done, which was wonderful. The level of effort and suffering that went into it was exactly what they wanted to see, and we didn't have to take it any further. So I think what matters so much for getting on stage is what happens in that hour ahead of stage. How well can you pump up? How well, how full are your muscles? Because the way you look the night before is not the way you're going to look on stage, isn't the way you're going to look 2 hours from then. Mm-hmm. So the timing of everything has to be right. And if you ask me, I don't think I've ever been perfectly pumped up for a show. So that's something that I need to perfect, whether that's timing, or how I do it. I got really close at prejudging. I'd say that was maybe some of the better pump up that I'd had, and that to me was critical, because it's always been, a timing thing or communication, and I just always was like, man, if I just had, a little bit more time or a little bit more notice, I could have, inflated this to the way it's supposed to look. When you're in the gym and you're seeing it just like bursting, I wanted that on stage.
Yeah,
it's a little bit different at a show. Sometimes all you've got is some bands. The Olympia did great with like a little mini gym back there, plenty of space. So I took full advantage of that. I would have liked to have had a little bit more time, but we got there as soon as we could. Night show did not have the pump that I was looking for. So I think that the shape that I have, with a little bit more of those last minute, the last minute pump really was going to show it a lot more. and you really can't underestimate those details
Oh,
for your
absolutely.
physique
Right.
and performance.
Yeah. I wish you would have seen the pump room that they had the year before that. It was like
Yeah.
triple the size, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Just build a gym in the back.
Oh my God, it was crazy. And of course, this
Wow.
year the Olympia is going to be on in Orlando, so that's going to
Yes.
be really exciting.
Where I won my pro card.
Where
Yeah.
you won your pro
That's
card,
going to
of
be
course.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you said something about the shock. Are you still in shock that you came in second place to Andrea Shaw?
Oh my gosh. This is real talk. I don't know if I was really shooting for first. I think a lot of people kind of like look at me like, why the nobody trains for second place, like, but I'm honest when I say I don't think that what I had was what I want my Miss Olympia to look like yet. I know it's in there. I know it's in there, but I didn't feel like it was there that day, that year. And I'm totally, secure in saying that. So with that said, I could not have placed better. To me, this was right where I needed to be. And when she came out as first, like nobody was clapping harder than me.
Mm-hmm.
I was so thrilled for her. I felt like everything went down the way it was supposed to. I mean, that was what was in my soul.
You know what was awesome
Like I
about
don't feel
this?
bad about second at
Yeah.
all.
Oh,
Like that, you know,
no. I
it
mean,
was it was perfect.
what you did and what you accomplished is just unreal. I mean, I don't think I knew that you were going to be a threat going into this show, hands down. I knew that. But a lot of these other people, they obviously thought otherwise, some of them, obviously, and the amount of respect that you gained and got from these girls and fans in general and people just in general it's amazing because really your passion for the sport and hard work, it truly shows. What I love the most though is that you actually worked with Andrea Shaw, didn't you, for the Olympia? There was some posing or
Gosh,
something you guys did.
we I'll give you a background on that. They were going to hold a posing seminar. Um, Gosh, it must have been 8 weeks out from her doing Rising Phoenix or something like that. And I saw the post up, and I was like, I need to get out of my city. I need to be around people that are doing what I'm doing at the highest level. She's right there. I need to get out of my shell and just go. I need to
Right.
go and be around that. I'll be around a whole crowd of people that are doing what we're doing, and I can watch. I'll soak it all in, bunch of tips. And then I saw the post come down, and I'm like, oh gosh, well, I mean, I have John Simmons' number, and I hate to bother anybody, but I'm like, is this still going on? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So I roll up, and the parking lot is pretty empty, and I come in, and it's pretty empty. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just early, and kind of get a little pump up. And John's like, she's ready for you when you are.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, where's everybody else? And he's like, oh, they'll be here or something like that. But I basically realized that it was going to be one-on-one with just Andrea and I.
Huh.
I could not believe my luck. I could not believe that that was what was happening because none of that was designed, and she spent the entire 2 hours with me. Like she didn't skimp on the time just because it was just me, or maybe they had,
Oh, that was very nice.
I still don't know. Maybe they had canceled it, but they were like,
Right.
we'll do this for you. Like let's come in and let's do this. So I mean, she worked me.
Did she?
Yeah.
Can you
Oh
give
yeah.
us
I've
an
got a lot of
example
video
of
of it.
can you give us an example of how she worked you?
Oh gosh. Just holding the poses and making sure that I knew how important it was to be able to hold these. And I mean, I was flagging. Not gonna lie, I was a little embarrassed of myself, but it really made an impression on how flawless you need to be, how steady and stable, and your breathing and just the way that you are just like one with that pose in the moment. And yeah, I mean, she put me on the clock, and if I messed up, she'd pull the clock back up, and I mean, I
What
was
was what,
sweating.
what
For
was the
sure.
most
It was great.
challenging poses for you? That she just like, okay, we need to
Um,
go over this over and over again.
Oh man, maybe it was front double. No, it might have been abdominal and
Yeah.
quads. It was one of them where I was like, I feel like I just learned something doing this here, that I had never seen before. So luckily I got all of that on video.
Yes.
And she was nice enough to, like my husband was there, and it was just the three of us just working, and that's something that I love. It's like there's no cameras. It's just like we're just doing what we do, and like, so we got to do that for one day. So
Hmm.
she didn't do any coaching or anything. But she, when I left, she was like, just let me know if you need anything.
That was
And
very
I said that I
nice.
would respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't abuse that for
Hmm.
sure.
So how were you guys backstage, being that you guys worked together? And I'm sure the camaraderie back there was incredible, wasn't it?
When you are backstage, it's like sharks. You can perceive the electricity in the water.
Right.
You know, and if there's blood in the water and someone's not doing well, you pick up on that real
Of
quick.
course.
So and especially at the Olympia, we've all worked so hard, and we want to get to this moment and just enjoy ourselves. Like before you're in the lineup, right about to go on stage, there was a lot of camaraderie, a lot of talking. Um, like just it was the best atmosphere. And like I said, I could tell that everyone was trying to keep everybody up, keep the energy up, not let anybody, like get too stressed, and like, like keeping everybody calm, because like you are literally a unit.
Yes.
We are the bodybuilding division
Right.
back there. And I didn't see one thing to complain about. Andrea was great.
Hmm. Of
I
course.
mean, she
Yeah.
is a consummate professional.
Yeah.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
So everyone has the utmost respect for her, and seeing that, in competition itself was just awesome. Seeing
Hmm.
how well she was treated.
Hmm. Are you still? I mean, right now you're no longer in shock over your second place win. It's already hit you now, right? Are you still
you
like, man? I still
know
can't believe I came in second.
it kind of comes in waves, to be honest. I think it kind of hit me yesterday, because I was like, I was just having a great session in the gym, like great leg day, and it was just like that internal voice. It was like, you're one of the best in the world.
Yeah, that's right.
You are one of the best in the world, and you need to hold yourself at that level. Like you need to become this over these next months. Like it's definitely going to be like a growing period um into this raised status. But yeah, it just kind of hit me yesterday. So just like in bits and pieces. Yeah, it's still wild. Like
Now,
yeah.
well, you said
No, probably not fully. Yeah.
now you said yesterday was leg day, so I'm wondering, were you in the middle of doing a set or a rep as you know what I mean? Like, say you're doing heavy squats and you're squatting down, and then you're thinking this moment, you are the best in the world, and then boom, you come up and get that heavy weight up.
Actually, I was collecting my bag, and and I had like scooped everything up, and the mirrors in front of me, and like I'm like on my way to something that's gonna be pretty hard, and I'm like, you are some of the best in the world, like, and it's just like,
Of
just like
course, yes.
washed over me. And then I walk over and I see a strongman friend of mine that I haven't seen in forever, and it was just like the best chance meeting. He's actually going to be competing in London this year. I'm making him do it, because if I'm doing
Aw,
the Olympia, like I'm like, you are going overseas for your
right,
sport.
right.
So that was just great. So kind of sharing that moment like right away with a very good friend was awesome.
Let's talk about the outpour of love you've been getting from fans and the athletes, and that's got to be amazing. So, who are some
Yeah.
people, you don't have to name names if you don't want to, who are some people that reached out to your fans or whoever that really touched you?
Oh my gosh. The meet and greet, that was probably some of the most intense, conversations that I've had about what I do and how it has affected people and how it pushed them, like the interviews that you and I have done, Femflex Friday interviews,
Mm-hmm.
people really watched those. And people telling me that it got them through prep, and that they realized, like, they're not alone. Like there's somebody that's just like them, that's been through the through the dirt, and like somehow has like built this amazing thing. It's like, well, why not me then? And I could not I could, you're just at slack jawed because you can't believe that. Like, it's just like, thank God what I said came across and it touched somebody, and they're here with me in Vegas
Yes. Yeah.
telling me like how it made them feel. And we're talking like, this is genuine. This is not just like handshake, like, hey, thanks for the inspo. No, this is like a full on, almost crying, conversation about like, we're going to do this. Like, you are now doing this, and I'm going to continue on with this energy that you have just lent to me. When people are asking me, like, how are you guys standing here at these booths right now? You got to compete tomorrow. And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, it was like a light bulb. I'm like, this energy makes you forget.
Yes.
The love that comes into you makes you forget the pain that you're in, or this thing that went so wrong, or like where you are in the orbit of this competition. Like, they bring you something so good.
They do.
And I don't think the fans get enough credit for that, because every time somebody comes into my message box or in person, like after the Olympia or even before the Olympia, saying what I do matters to them, they don't have to say any of that. They did not have to take the time to articulate, what it really meant to them. And I try to give everybody a moment, because what they're about to say could be very important.
That is very
So,
nice to hear you
huge
say
shout.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's real. It's real life.
Imagine if some of these athletes and people didn't give these people the moments, what would happen? They'd have. It's always about that first impression too, right? Some people say if I was to meet, which has happened, I've met somebody and they were not very nice and they didn't give me the time of day, and I was looking so forward to come and see this person.
Yeah.
And it's
It only hurts the fan,
yes,
because it may have taken them all of the courage they had to come up to the bodybuilder that they admire, and then to have that. You try to always be on your best, like always try to act your best. Everybody has a bad day, but you have to like snap out of it for a second, take your earbuds out, and see what it is that you can do to give back. Because like that energy of what they're about to say could change your whole day. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me in the gym, where I'm like, oh, maybe I'd really like to finish this, but then they say something that I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe. I know now better than to not give somebody like a moment. What's a moment?
sure.
It's gonna be amazing what they say.
Yeah.
Promise.
It doesn't hurt that for a minute or whatever to make that, give a moment to that person. I totally agree with you. And I love you for that. I love that you're for the fans and that you give people the time of day, because it really it can change somebody. It can, it could do wonders. And I love that about you. After the
That
Olympia.
energy exchange. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That energy exchange is so important. It's such that feeling you get. But after the Olympia, when you won, soon, when you came in second place.
Second place, okay.
I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking in the future. When you came in second place, now how many DMs do you have, and how much emails and all this stuff did you get from people, or compliments after the show?
Incalculable. Hundreds.
Now you're
Probably thousands.
very humble too. Like you
Yeah.
really, So after the show, because I got before the athletes meeting, of course, but after, was there anybody that came up to you, pros, who you're just touched by it? Like Oh my God, I can't believe you're talking to me. You know what I mean? Like, did any of that happen?
Um, well, I don't want to say no, but I mean, like we're backstage and we're just kind of, doing the things and the interviews and milling around, and then you've got to be over here for some photographs, and then, like you got to clear space so the guys can come in. So it was rather hectic, but I do remember Halle being very nice
Mm-hmm.
and congratulating me. Not over the top, but it was I. This woman has been all over the world for this sport. These these women are legends to me.
Mm-hmm.
So being around them and to have stood next to them on the stage was amazing. And Margie Martin was
Margie
probably
loves you.
the you. I tell you what, you pray for good energy like that backstage.
Yeah.
She came around with a gift for every single
Aw.
bodybuilder, every single female bodybuilder at the night show, and I'm like, where did this come from? Because she either had to plan that or she had to put that together between
Yeah.
prejudging and night show. So either way, she's putting a lot of energy into it, and just the camaraderie and the laughs and like just not taking it too seriously. Because sometimes in that moment, you need someone to just snap you out of your head because you are going 90 miles an hour on what's about to happen. And then you've got somebody over here, like literally just giving you a hug
Yes.
and being like, you've got this. Like, oh yeah, I totally got this. Yeah, that was awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great energy.
Are we going to see you at any seminars or guest posing this year?
We'll see. I mean, our year has just begun, really. So my 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 2023 New Year's resolution is to do better with Instagram DMs.
Oh.
So so if there are invites out there that somebody's like, well, I invited you. If I haven't seen it yet, best way to get a hold of me is like my business email, proyo.com. But I'm trying to get into DMs and surfing the wave of all of that, all of those messages and content to see, what's in there. I'm not opposed to it.
Good.
It makes me very nervous to do so, but this is what made me nervous about doing well in the first place was that this is going to make make me grow in all the right ways. Like it's going to pull the professional out of me and also be able to give back in a way that I never have.
Absolutely.
I've done a guest posing once in the past. Hand out some trophies, kind of like at the John Simmons Classic. That was awesome. But so I have a little bit of experience. Like we'll see what happens this year.
Good. I would love to see more of you out there, putting yourself out there. You're such a superb poser. It's art. What you bring is art, obviously. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because we want to see
Good
more of
encouragement.
you. Well, it's good encouragement, and also it keeps people ready. Like, look, I'm not playing around this year. I'm getting ready for the Olympia. Look at me. Look what I'm bringing. We already know you're the best in the world, but we still want to keep on seeing you. It's kind of like Derek Lunsford, right?
Yeah.
It's a great example. Always boom, boom, boom. He's in everybody's face. I wanted to ask you, just because I know you're a big bodybuilding fan, who's your top 5 for the Arnold Classic?
Oh gosh.
Are you going to be there, right?
Oh, I was at the Arnold Classic every year for a decade, every single year up until 2020. We spend a lot of money. We're talking a lot of money on those weekends. To do it right, stay for the whole weekend. And I'm just a little upset, that my women's physique and my women's bodybuilding aren't there. And I have always gone to that show to see what I wanted to be. I could definitely go as kind of like as a rebel.
Sure.
To make sure that we're seen no matter what.
Yes, right.
I don't have a plan to at this moment, because like I said, that's a lot of money, and we've got a pretty big year ahead.
Right.
So I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a touchy subject because I never knew that there was that there were other people like me until I went to the Arnold, and it was the first time I ever saw a women's physique athlete in person.
Oh, at the Arnold.
This changed my life.
Yeah.
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 You know, because it's right downstate from me.
Right.
So it's not hard to get to.
Right.
And I'm just, it's just a difficult feeling.
No, I
You
understand
know.
completely.
Yeah.
I understand.
So
Do you ever think that it will come back? Women's physique and women's bodybuilding?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
You know, but with the so far it seems like they're narrowing down more than just the women's divisions. And wasn't there a possibility that even figure was not going to be on the stage
Yeah, so figure as well. Yeah.
at one point,
Right.
which it makes that to me, you're just like, this is ludicrous.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
What is why? Explain to me. Like, we've got 100 sports at the Arnold Sports Festival. So no offense to ballroom dancing, but you're saying that ballroom dancing is more important than having figure, physique, and bodybuilding,
Sure.
and it's more lucrative. I just can't get
Well,
there
I
from
think
here.
it's for them being from a business standpoint. I think for them it's more about the sales, ticket sales, what draws the interest. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course.
Yeah, well, like they had the slap fighting last year. You saw how that went. That was just insane. But I agree with you. I would love to see women's physique and women's bodybuilding coming back. And
I'd love to keep the door open for that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I like to stay optimistic on that, but I totally feel, I know what you're feeling. I understand completely.
And I respect it.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is your show. You can do whatever you want to do. Any competition can choose to highlight any division, and that's all across the country, and that's no different. So my love for it will be forever.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I love the expo. I mean, it's a madhouse. Like, if you've never been to the Arnold, it is a living thing, and I encourage people to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never seen something like that, you absolutely should.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't go so far as to say people shouldn't go. I'm just not sure when I'll be back.
Oh, no, I totally
Maybe
get
a little
it.
bit of funding and I'll get there, but
Well, in saying that, who do you have for your top 5 at the Arnold? Who would you pick? No,
I am
no
always
particular
gonna-
order.
forever going to be a William Bonac fan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That one's close to me. As far as second through fifth, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen the full lineup. I've just been kind of seeing a few people here and there, but that's why I'm going to
I'll
put
give you
Bonac.
some names. Samson Dauda.
Oh, yes.
Samson, Nick Walker, Andrew Jack. Just to give you a couple names there. I would have loved to have seen Derek Lunsford in there. Unfortunately, he's not. Big Rami is going to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Do you think
I think that battle for first.
Oh, yeah. Do you think Bonac is going to redeem himself from his last placing at the Olympia? At the Arnold? Do you think he's going to win?
That man has so much heart. You know what I'm saying? So I can say, is it first in scoring, or is it first in my heart?
Huh.
You know, so
That's a good way of putting it, right?
yeah, you know, like I can tell you who I'm rooting for. I mean, like, seeing Nick Walker backstage at the Olympia, unbelievable. We sat in the front row at the athletes meeting, so we just happened to be in the right spot where everybody had to come across us to sign in,
Right.
and then go across the table and back. So we got a pretty good look at everybody, and Nick is just huge. I mean, he's amazing. I think Samson is really going to put on a show. So that's going to be, I'd say that's close to top 3, 4.
Mm.
So
So the guys were backstage when you were backstage too, right?
Yeah.
So what was that like for you? Were you able to maneuver around these big guys, or what? Because I know it had been crowded back there.
Backstage, like, you mean
backstage.
like night show?
Yeah, the night show.
It was a little cramped, yeah. You know, and you definitely, you know, like, the girls are kind of holding each other up a little bit, and the guys are definitely, you know, everyone's got their own way of managing backstage stress and intensity, and they had to be back there for quite some time. So it was a little bit hard, because, you know, like, we would need to be pumping up, and you'll be sitting, you know, pretty much like in the way, and then they're trying to get ready. So you just have to be on your best behavior and super polite
Right.
to try and get where you want to go. Yeah, it was pretty it was pretty tight.
I would have been a kid in a
I mean,
candy store though, seeing all these big guys. Like, oh my God, there's Heidi Chupin, and there's Nick
yeah.
Walker, and there's Andrew Jack. Did you get to see Andrew Jack?
Oh, you
back then?
can't. I'm not sure who all was back there because I was really. It was
He
like
was
me
so
and
fun.
Steve
Yeah,
expediting, and I'm like,
right.
I'm looking for timing. I need to, like I can't
Right,
miss what I missed at prejudging.
right.
So I mean, you have your head on a swivel, but like you're also like, I am here for me. I said hi to, oh gosh, one person. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I was like, wow, he's right there. I got to say hi real quick. But that was as far as I went because, people are really trying to, like I said, manage their energy backstage, and it's not really a time to chat. But
Hmm.
it was backstage at night show was like a nightclub
Hmm.
because the ambient light from the
Right.
stage was trickling through to the athletes, and all you see is darkness and shadows and this bright aura blue and the sparkles of the suits and the bass of the sound system was just like coming through the floor, and it was I mean, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will.
Of
It was
course.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So since the Olympia, I know you've been a busy bee training. You're looking thick, like I said earlier. What other things you've been doing? Are you just focused on the Olympia?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I've just
focused
been
on the Olympia. Wow.
focused on like after the Olympia, I mean, there's like a healing process. I mean, like I've always got more than enough work on my plate to chew on, so trying to manage that, but also, realizing where I'm at and like what I just went through. Um, and kind of studying high level athletics. I would love to sit down with a great sports psychologist and talk about the things that we go through mentally. And I'm listening to podcasts about dopamine and like what actually
Sure.
happens, and like what is this time after the competition that can be so delicate. How do I manage the self care? Because it's kind of just me in Toledo. It's not in LA, it's not Miami. Um, but yeah, just kind of like processing what I've been through and preparing my energy for what's next. Um, we haven't really been, like I've been seeing my family and stuff like that was great. The holidays were awesome, but really just kind of like retreating a little bit
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that like everything is smoothed out
Mm-hmm.
and that I've taken care of myself. So I mean, we're at the end of January right now, and there's a snowstorm this week.
Oh
So
my gosh.
things are kind of like, there's not a lot going on, but I'm sure the requests will be coming in
Uh-huh.
fairly soon. I've got a couple phone calls to make, and that's all I'll say.
Oh, nice.
Some
Okay.
return phone calls. So I
Sure.
mean, things are happening, but it's the middle of winter, so
Right.
not too much.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
Do you feel a sports psychologist is very important for our sport? Because you're actually the second person I've heard about that. There was one guy, I won't name his name, I won't name him, but he actually used a sports psychologist and said it was the best thing he's ever had for him in prep. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, like watching people like Tim Grover, like the way that they coach and the way they understand their athletes and the severity of what it takes to win. How deep you have to go and how much you have to leave behind of yourself to become something new. I mean, it is absolutely fascinating to me. Maybe that you did ask me once what I would do if I wasn't a bodybuilder, and like maybe that is what I'll do, because the mind, like the body is one thing, I've got that is a huge project, but the mind for me has also been like one of the greatest journeys through all of this. And if anybody's seriously been competing, like, and has any kind of history, this can get really dark.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
how you lay out your year, how you get out of your own way, how you manage your stress. I would just love to. I mean, yeah, I did actually get a little bit of therapy going before the Olympia, uh, to try to prepare myself to
Sure.
to handle all of the things and the micro traumas that had happened through the year. And I really wanted to be ready and have a place to funnel all of that. Um, because it's just as much a cerebral sport as it is physical. So
Absolutely.
I think, like you have your friends, but also to have a professional that has done this before with people at the highest level. I mean, like this is what they do. They work with the best.
Mhm.
And like how do you help them connect more dots to get further? And that's actually what I said to Brandon when I hired him. I was like, like I can do a lot.
Mhm.
I can work really hard, but I there's another level that I'm seeking, and I need more of that special extra knowledge to help me get there. Like that's the
Mhm.
guidance that I need. Like I definitely need excellent training, a great dieting protocol, and a shitload of trust.
Sure. Of
My new
course.
hashtag is Brandon take the wheel because because I'm really trusting him with a lot this year. Um, but that was like one thing I laid out in the very forefront was that like I need the psychological step. How can you guide me? Like, and that's really a challenge for a coach because when you say you want something more than just
Right.
nutrition and posing and the building blocks, like I want the steam that comes off of this.
Right. Do you feel that you're getting all that now as far as like, I know earlier you said something about stepping into a newer level, sacrificing something. Do you feel like you're now at this newer level and that everything is aligning for you? Do you still feel you're going to have a little bit of challenges along the way, or just curious?
the the blessing and the curse of this particular state is that I now get to figure out what it is that the best go through,
Right.
to not just be the best, but stay at that level and then continually progress to actually get better from where you were. That was, for me, second in the world. I get to find out what they're going through. And then, from my own, private facet of the world.
Sure.
So I do think there's definitely more room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got a little bit of a handle on it, like after the amazing wave, there's like you have, you kind of come down because man, like what comes up comes down.
Right.
But I feel like I'm through most of the meat of that. And I'm kind of like, because like, and there's also like, you got to let that go.
Right.
You have to like move on and through it and past it. And sometimes it's very painful because you don't really know what's next. And it's back to the grind. It's back to 4:30 every Saturday and Sunday morning. Like it's like you're right back. And thank God, like I'm about the work. I love the work, but you know, yeah, yeah, I think so.
Now, when you
I
say the
think I'm doing
work,
pretty well with it.
I think
Yeah.
you're looking pretty well now. I mean, wow. But when you say the work, are you talking about the whole thing with the diet, the training, the mental, all that, right? Is that
Yeah,
what you? Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, like the work, yeah. Well, I guess that all could be, one unit of work, but like the training, like specifically the work of the training
Mm-hmm.
that has always had my heart.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, not a single rep of this will have ever been for a federation or a competition because none of that lasts.
Right.
It doesn't last. Like this is something that I have to have
Mm-hmm.
like for the rest of my life.
Sure.
So I'm gonna
Absolutely.
I'm gonna keep doing this, and it has learning to trust myself, and that my personal process has gotten me this far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a huge realization.
Is there any fun events coming up? I know you like the the cemetery stuff, or the or what do you call it, the hearse and everything.
Yes.
Any oddities?
Actually, yeah. April 1st, we're gonna be in Chicago for an oddities expo, and it's going to be in a big massive theater
Oh
with
wow.
some like death metal, and we've been to one of their events before and they are exquisite. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
talking uh you know $4,000 pieces. It's no big deal. Like
Right.
just things moving all over the
Right.
place. And you're just like, I would never have seen this anywhere else. Just unique and unusual, amazing people watching,
I want to go to
couldn't
one
be
of these
happier.
oddity places so bad.
Chicago.
Yeah, April 1st. All right, I'm
I think
gonna
it's April 1st. Yeah.
April Fools, right?
Yes.
Did you guys? Do you? I gotta ask. Do you guys own a hearse by chance?
Not yet.
Is it in the works?
But, well, it kind of is, because the house we moved into actually has the space to park one,
Oh my
which was
gosh,
always
yeah.
our problem before. So
Wow.
they're not actually super expensive.
Yeah.
So, when we have maybe a little bit more time flexibility, we're definitely going to get one.
I think
And
that'd be
that
so
will just
cool.
be part of the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really sweet what you did for your husband, the surprise gift for his birthday, where you took him, walking around and seeing if he would find. What was it? How was that? It was like a treasure hunt or something. He had to look and find. How did that work again?
He didn't know.
He didn't know.
Yeah, our friends up in Michigan run the Death Museum. So it's like it's an amazing collection, run by our friend Todd LaRosa. Everybody knows Todd. But it's like a lot of his personal collection, but also like death items from around the world.
Yeah.
And he and a guy got another location up in Monroe that's closer to us. And I had this all set up ahead of time, but I was like, we should go check this out just as a date, because we got to go see what our friend has created, because it's always going to be there. There's human skin hanging
Sure.
around. It's just crazy. But yeah, I took him upstairs and we were just kind of looking around, and I was like, well, your birthday gift is in this room.
That is so cool.
and that's
So
just
what did
kinda
he say
how I
after that?
started.
He's like, really? He just starts looking around and trying to guess what it
His
was?
eyes got kind of wide, because we're in, like you said, a kid in a candy shop.
Right.
So it could have been anything. So to have gone home with a couple of the bigger, funeral home, giant candle stands, and also
Did he guess it right?
There's a pedestal where you sign.
Did he guess it? Did he go right to it and be like, this is... Did he know?
I kind of did like a little bit of a colder warmer. So there was no way he was gonna. It was a huge room.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was very sweet.
I saw
and
the video of it. They look cool, those things. They're huge.
Yeah, they are almost as tall as I am. So.
And how tall are you
So they
again?
make
5'2",
I'm 5'1"
5'4", 5'5"?
5'1.5", I guess,
5'1.5".
on a good day.
Okay, we'll say 5'2".
Yeah, that's what I
Why
put on
not?
my card. Yeah.
Why not? How's he doing? I seen he was doing some biking the other day or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his sport. He's actually a long distance cyclist, and like more recently, just like kind of more like city rides. But in that place that we moved to, there's a lot more opportunities for new trail rides. So we got a new awesome bike for that, which was kind of like one of his dream bikes. But that's what he does, and I could not do what he does. So I kind of have the lifting side, and he has the endurance side, and I really respect that. That's what he does. He's doing good.
Oh, that's cool.
He's doing great.
So, hon, I know that our time is getting close here. I don't want to leave anybody out. If you want to give some shout outs, any piece of advice you want to give to anyone or love, go for it. But I want to tell you, before I do that, I'm really proud of you and what you've achieved. You have done really great things for the sport of bodybuilding. You're truly a great ambassador of the sport, and we all love you very much. Keep on doing what you're doing. I think that you're going to be... Wow. You're going to change the face of bodybuilding and the way we look at it. Totally. I love what you bring. It's
Thank
truly
you.
an art. So...
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I just, when I got into the bodybuilding division, I just wanted to do it as much justice as I could, And now after 17 years of training and 11 years of competition, I finally get to do what I've always wanted to do. So, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And for a shout out, just like my whole crew, my family, my coach, my suit sponsor, Kira Jones, who has always made me look the most amazing on stage, because she really has been my only sponsor. you know, for all of these years. So she really deserves a big thank you, and you know, of my husband, of course,
Of
because
course.
he is the secret ingredient. Without him, I cease to exist. So
I love that. You two are so
yeah.
adorable. Tell him I said hello.
Oh,
Uh,
I will. I
thank you for
absolutely will.
everything again. Thank you for being on the Fit Rockstar
Oh,
show.
thank you.
Happy training.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
we will see us soon. Hopefully, I'll see you in April at that oddities thing. That'd be
That
cool.
would be awesome.
That
I'll
would
be sending
awesome.
you some information.
All right.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
if we
sweetie.
can't get on the guest list. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Ciao.
Bye. Thank you so much.